thought we should take a minute and talk about the construction of the bass, and probably some of you are wanting to know what gauge strings are on there and things like that. So one thing I wanted to point out, now these are both McSpadden instruments. Do you see how they're the same length? Well, I understand from Len McSpadden's point of view when he first built these, is that he was really trying to be cost effective. They go in the same case.
Well, and they're also the same jigs, the same forms, the same fret saws. Everything could cut the same parts, and he didn't have to tool up to build a different instrument. So he just puts larger gauge strings on the same box.
But I know it probably messes with your head, because when you think bass, you think it's got to be bigger. And when you think of like a flute and then a piccolo, they get smaller as the pitches get higher. So this is proof positive that it's more about the construction of the instrument and the gauge of strings that has its pitch tonality.
So let's talk about those gauges.
Now, before that, would you agree that there is to make an instrument a bass, there has to be some more construction,
I think it's
foundation in
yes, it's probably braced inside just a little different to help the vibrations to pick up those lower tones. But I don't know enough about that to really speak to it other than.
Well, I know some people have asked me, can I turn my standard into a bass? So once again, you have to go to a builder to find that out.
Well, and that's because these strings on the bass dulcimer are so much larger, they don't fit down in the slots on your bridge and nut slots like they would on your standard. So you'll have to have a builder to widen those slots just a little bit so they'll fit down in the slots better.
So now let's tell them what these gauges are.
Okay.
So if you look close at these strings, you see how much fatter they are than the ones on the standard. Now remember I told you earlier that the melody string on the bass was the same as the bass string on the standard? Listen at that.
Yeah, that's the same string, and that's a 23 gauge, the one that's on this one. So that's the same string, the lowest one on the standard and the highest one on the bass. Then from there, the middle string is a 42, the bass string is a 56. Now, each builder has their own set of gauges, and a lot of times that's based on the length, the vibrating string length, they call it. So if someone's dulcimer is just a little shorter, they'll use a little thicker gauge. Or maybe they want to be more melodic with their playing, they maybe want a little smaller gauge. So everyone's different. I would suggest if you're looking to buy or looking to convert a dulcimer to a bass, talk to the builder first. Make sure that you get their advice.